Hi angels, welcome back to another DIY. So in this video we are gonna be making some bonnets. This one did not turn out the way how I wanted it to turn out, but it's my first time making it, so you live, you learn, you make mistakes. But I thought it was still so cute, so why not post it? So first thing first, I'm gonna tell you guys what you're gonna actually need to start doing first, since I was rambling on and on. You're gonna need a large paper. I got this paper from the back of my mirror. I just cut off the paper. It wasn't needed, so you guys are gonna need some rulers. So all I'm doing with my ruler is I'm gonna draw a straight line straight across to the length of the ruler, and at the side I'm gonna draw a straight line right down the side of it, like right where the mirror, not the mirror, right where the ruler starts. So yeah. And right there at the edge of the ruler, I'm going to draw a little dot at it, on it. And right at the dot, I'm going to connect to the first, what am I saying? So I'm going to connect it and then just keep on moving the mirror downwards and keep measuring 13 inches. And all that little dots that we're going to be doing right here, that I'm showing you guys, we're going to connect it, and then it will be so much easier to cut off. I wasn't sure if this was going to turn out good or not, but I'm happy it turned out decently, and that's how it turned out. So you're going to do a straight line across, straight line at the edge, and then you're going to connect it to a cute little circle. So it's going to be a triangle with a little curve at the bottom of it. That's the whole outcome. So now I'm just cutting out the shape of it because we're going to be needing it. So let me tell you guys the supplies that we're going to need. Obviously, you need some scissors. You're going to need a ruler. You're going to need some fabric. You can either use velvet, silk, whatever fabric that you want to use. You need some paper. Obviously, you know why you need the paper. You need some safety pin. You can either sew it with your hand. You can sew it with your sewing machine. Or you can use some fabric glue and glue it up together. I use both the sewing machine and the fabric glue, and I'm going to tell you guys why and which one I think works much better. So the second step is get your fabric. The first thing you do with your fabric is fold it like a hot dog, and then you're going to do a burger. Hot dog and then a burger. And then you're just going to pin down this sheet of paper that we just cut off, pin it onto the fabric so that it won't be moving around or shifting or anything like that. So I'm just going to get my little safety pins. I don't think they're called safety pins, but that's what I'm calling them. We're going to get them. We're going to pin it onto the fabric. So I'm just making sure that it's nice and even and everything like that. Just pinning it on. Don't worry if you're poking the paper or anything like that. It doesn't really matter. Make sure that it's on there evenly. And the next thing you're going to do is going to be so much easier for you to just boop, bop, wop, cut it straight out. Because you already have it pinned on and everything like that. So you're just going to cut it out. By the way, my scissors are very dull, so I'm going to have to be going over it a few times. There's nothing wrong with the fabric or anything like that. It's just my scissors. I need to get some new ones. Make sure you make sure that it's nice and even up, like I have those extra fabric at the bottom of it. Which you don't have to, but if you're a perfectionist. And this is how it turned out. It's just a big circle. And that's good. So now I have this velvet fabric and this silk fabric right here. So I'm going to do the exact same thing again to the rest of the fabrics. This one was much bigger, so it took me a minute. And since it's silk, it started like slipping off and everything like that. So it took me a minute just to get it. But we're going to do a hot dog and then a burger. Didn't get to spin it on. Make sure that you do a hot dog and a burger. If you just place the little pattern that we cut out and just place it on top of the fabric, guess what? You're only going to have like half of it. You need a whole circle. That's why you have to do a hot dog and then a burger. You have to do it. So, yep. So this silk fabric that I'm cutting out right here, I'm going to cut out 2 circles. I'm going to use both of them for the inside of my bonnet so it can be nice and silky. Nice and silky. Does that make any sense? But yeah, this fabric is just for the inside. It doesn't have to be for the inside. And this is the second fabric that I have right here. What is that? Don't quite know, but I'm just doing the exact same thing, cutting out the pattern. This is going to be for the outside. The outside could look much more colorful. So that was like the whole point. Outside I was like, oh, that's kind of cute. So that's why I got it. I really do need to get my toes done. Look at those crusty toes. Jesus. So this is how it looks when I cut it out. So this is where I messed up. So first thing first, that is the blue silk fabric that I told you guys about. And then the front part is that a fabric. What is that? I don't know. But do you see where I pinned it on to pin them both onto each other? Well, I don't even know how to talk. But when you're doing this, first thing first, you have to place 2 fabric on top of each other. Pin it on just to make sure that you have it nice and even. You don't have any extra room or anything like that. The next step is actually you're going to give it a little space because obviously you need to put in the elastic. But you can't just put in the elastic just like that. Just sew on the top part and put in the elastic because it's not going to work. So in like a little centerpiece around it, you're going to pin like a little circle all the way around, making sure that you can put the elastic in there and then still have the top part. And you guys are going to need to sew up top. Well, this part that I'm sewing right here, you see all that space in between? That's where I messed up. That's why the bonnet doesn't look like a normal bonnet. But I didn't know that's how it's going to turn out. That's where I totally messed up. And that's how it looks. My sewing isn't perfect. I stopped using the sewing machine because I just got the sewing machine like a year ago. I really don't know what I'm doing. But you guys see what I'm talking about? That this space in between right there. So I sew all the way around in a circle. And I still had a space where I can sew all the way up top. And still be able to put the elastic all the way through. Making sure that when you are sewing up the top part of it, you don't sew all the way around because you're going to need to put the elastic all the way through. So the reason why I didn't use the sewing machine all the way around because this is a circle shape. I don't know what it was, but my sewing machine was not working with me and it kept on messing up. I could not get it for the grace of me. But I decided, why not just glue it on? 100% easier. If you don't want to glue it on, just hand sew it. Or just use some fabric glue. I'm just going to be gluing the edge of it since I already totally messed up and I gave it a lot of space. Make sure that you press down the glue in between it. And you should be good to go. And remember to leave space in between. You need that space. Otherwise, it's just going to be a big whole circle. And you don't want that. And this is another fabric. I decided to use a velvet fabric. So I totally messed up on this one. I forgot to give it a little space in between so I can attach the elastic. So I can put in the elastic. I messed up. I only glue on one part of it. there's supposed to be a second part that goes all the way around in a circle that I'm supposed to glue. But now this is the last step. We are going to be getting a safety pin, attaching the safety pin to the elastic, and we're going to be pushing it, that little open space that we left, we're going to be pushing it all the way through. Pushing the elastic all the way through it. That's why you need that space. And that's why you need to sew it at the top and then a little bit in the middle, or else the elastic is just going to go all the way through it and it will not be sticking up. And that's what I'm doing. Just pushing it through, pulling it up, making sure that the second part of the elastic doesn't go all the way through the bonnet. Always you're going to have to try to find it. And now we are going to be connecting the elastic together with the safety pin because I don't want to lose it. So the next step is to get your needle and thread, and you're going to be sewing the elastic together so that it doesn't separate or anything like that. So yeah, and that's how it looks. Oh, I almost forgot. You have to measure the elastic around your head first, and then you can just push it all the way through the bonnet. So now I'm just sewing the elastic together. By the way, before I even start sewing, I try on the bonnet just to make sure if I need to tighten up the elastic or anything needs to make changes to it before I sew it on. So after I sew up the elastic together, next thing I'm going to do, the space that I use to push the elastic all the way through, I'm just going to sew it up so that the elastic doesn't come through or anything like that. And that is, this is the last and final steps. So now I'm just sewing the top part of the bonnet because I finished sewing the elastic. And this is how the bonnet turned out. I love the middle of it. The inside of it looks good. Okay, Angel, so this is how both of the bonnets turned out. By the way, they're both reversible, so you can flip it inside out and you are good to go because the other side is silk. So I do hope that you guys like this video. If you do, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe.